When we, chose this subject matter or title for this video, we know people have made, kind of sayings on size matters, but when we're talking about this, the system that you've been surrounded with, everything you do in the legal system, uniquely seems to be using regular paper format when they file things into a court, which should be surprising because why wouldn't they be using legal size paper? Because it's not really legal. And because the first document that ever happened that your parents filled out, it's on a legal size format, because they say this is a permanent legal record. But again, when they're trying to place your given name in on that record, your God-given Christian name, there's only two things that could happen there, which is, for one thing, it's non-transferable, so it really doesn't exist on the paper to begin with. Even though it may be seen, it's not there. And even in the evidence of it being there, it would cancel out the other name anyways, which represents debt. So there can't be any debt on it. But of course, remove your given name off there in theory, and then there would only be this body that's there that has no one known to be carrying or hosting the debt or acting as a surety for it. So it's kind of a system where you have to look in deep into it, but the reason why the system operates on the regular size paper is for regulations in positive law, which regulates and rules it. And that's why we have positive law. It's to operate those that are trespassing on it. And so therefore, the original record, even when they authenticate the framing of the innocent child without cause, it still places the seal outside because they cannot seal the fate of this child that's in there, because this child hasn't had a choice yet, hasn't reached election. And the fact is that the given name is never going to be the property of the state. It is the property of God, and therefore it's his creation, it's truth, and God doesn't operate in fiction, he operates in truth. We know who operates in fiction, which is the father of the lie, which is why the devil's advocates advocate your ability to walk into fiction, to be deceived into believing that something which is false is true. And that's why people have been able to place all their energy, their time, and their labor into a legal birth name that is not their title, because they've been deceived into the fiction. And that's why the word fiction in the Latin meant to feign. So therefore, when Peter wrote that they will make merchandise out of you by feigned words, they use the surnames to basically control all the legal misconception of birth labor, and they take it down an avenue that's entailed down a direction you can never get at that title. It's always you chasing your tail. You'll never catch it. It's always ahead of you. It's the carrot in front of the horse. And because it's never going to be yours, you will never own anything anyways, and you never did in the legal world. That is the concept. Even Satan will not share his fictional power with you, and therefore he just has his minions, these devil's advocates, advocate your ability to go down a deceptive path. So when we're looking at things, it's unique that the first document, they will authenticate it, but they're not authenticating the actual document, they're authenticating the seal of the office outside the frame. Because you were absolved, and you could never have been involved, and you were really outside the frame, you were never really in the frame, because you're not part of the framing of their constitution, because you were never part of their world from the beginning. Because you're natural, you're not artificial, and you're not legal. You were never legal. So you are a stranger to fiction because you are walking, hopefully by now, watching the videos in truth. So we hope if you have any problems on understanding even this part of the video, you can go back to previous videos, because there was a lot of videos that led the way for you to have a better understanding of this. But the legal record is only a permanent legal record of only a legal birth name, which is strictly the property of Caesar, has nothing to do with you. When you got deceived into trying to take from that forbidden territory, you crossed the line, and now you've entered into merging with or yoking yourself or incorporating your truthful name with a fictional name. And therefore now you bear the burden for taking on another's debt. hopefully this helps.